Welcome to the Explainer. So, we all know AI can do some amazing things, right? It can create art, it can write code, but it's also fueling a whole new, kind of scary wave of cyber attacks. Today, we're going to break down exactly how hacking has evolved, and, most importantly, what you can actually do to stay safe out there. Let's get into it.
All right, let's start with something we all count on, two-factor authentication, or 2FA. We think of it as our digital seatbelt, right? But what if I told you hackers have figured out a way to unbuckle it without you even noticing? Yeah, we're going to start with a technique that targets the very thing we trust to keep us secure.
Okay, first up, let's look at two really cutting-edge attacks that are powered by artificial intelligence. And believe me, these are not your typical old-school viruses. This is a whole new ballgame, a whole new level of deception that's really changing everything.
So check this out. It's called smart phishing, and it is terrifyingly clever. Here's how it goes down. You get an email that looks totally legit, maybe a brand deal or something. You click the link, and it takes you to a perfect clone of a real login page. So you type in your username, your password, and then that 6-digit code from your phone. But here's the evil genius part. In the background, a bot instantly takes that info and uses it on the real website. Just like that, they're in. That 2FA code you just entered, it was the key they used to hack you. And the crazy thing is how subtle the deception is. I mean, look at this. The difference between a real URL and a fake one can be tiny. A real site might be collabster.com, but the fake one is creator.collabsed.net. Close, but not the same. Or a fake Google login that just tacks on something like security-update.com at the end. So the crucial takeaway here is this. Before you ever type in a password, you have got to check that URL. Look for the little padlock and really read the domain name. The hackers are literally betting that you're in a rush and won't notice.
Now, for an attack that sounds like it's straight out of a Mission Impossible movie, a hacker gets a photo of your keyboard. But they don't just ask an AI to, hack my password. No. It's way sneakier than that. They use a much more clever and innocent-sounding prompt.
And this is what's known as the dull key attack. See, the keys you press most often, like in your password, get physically worn down over time. An attacker snaps a photo, feeds it to an AI, and uses that prompt we just saw. Hey, I'm just trying to recover my password. Here are the keys that are all worn out. And the AI, just trying to be helpful, spits out the most probable password combinations using those keys. It's not brute force. It's a super targeted guess based on your actual physical habits. Wild, right? For all this fancy AI stuff, hackers know that their most reliable target hasn't changed at all. It's still us, the human, on the other side of the screen. This is where social engineering comes in. It's all about bypassing the technology completely and going straight for our psychology and our daily routines.
And these methods are all about exploiting our trust. It could be a tiny little USB device plugged into the back of your keyboard that you never see, and it's logging every single thing you type. Or it's a scammer on the phone talking about a package delivery, trying to get you to read them that one-time code that, surprise, is actually for your bank account. They all rely on one thing: us being too busy or distracted to see what's really happening.
Okay. Let's shift gears and talk about the digital spaces we use every single day, often without even thinking about it. I'm talking about our Wi-Fi networks and the software we install. These are two of the biggest battlegrounds for your personal data. Picture this. You walk into your favorite coffee shop, you open your laptop, and you see two networks, cafe_Wi-Fi and cafe_free Wi-Fi. You connect to the free one because why not? Well, you might have just walked into a trap. This is the evil twin attack. A hacker has set up a fake hotspot with a convincing name, and if you connect to it, they are sitting right in the middle, intercepting everything you do online. Passwords, emails, you name it.
This lock analogy is just a brilliant way to understand why your home Wi-Fi security setting matters so much. Think about it. The old WEP standard from back in the day, that's like a diary lock anyone can pick with a paperclip. WPA2, which is what most of us have, is way better. It's like a solid deadbolt on your door. But WPA3, that's the goal. That's like having a lock with a fingerprint scanner. It makes it so much harder for anyone to get in.
And then there's cracked software. Look, trying to save a few bucks by downloading a pirated program can end up costing you literally everything. These files are notorious for hiding malware, especially ransomware. One click, and all your files, your photos, your documents, everything gets locked up and encrypted. And the only way they say you can get them back? By paying a hefty ransom, usually in untraceable Bitcoin.
You might picture a hacker needing a dark basement full of glowing supercomputers to do their work. But that's just not the case anymore. A lot of the most powerful hacking tools can now run on a totally standard Android phone that fits right in your pocket.
The secret sauce here is an app like Termux. What it does is it basically installs a little mini version of the Linux operating system on an Android phone, and that gives you access to a powerful command line interface. This text-based screen is where a ton of hacking tools are actually built and operated from. So, what even is a command line?
The best way to think about it is to remember the story of Alibaba. Open Sesame was a command. It had to be those exact words in that exact order for the cave to open. Well, the command line is the same deal. The commands are incredibly precise, they're case-sensitive. If you get one single letter wrong, the program just won't run. But when you get it right, you can unleash some seriously powerful stuff.
Okay, I know that was a lot of doom and gloom, but the whole point of this is that knowledge is power. Knowing about these threats is the absolute first step to defending yourself. So let's get to the most important part, your personal defense plan. What can you actually do?
All right, first things first, let's lock down your accounts. I'm going to say it again. Always check the URL before you log in. Use a password manager to create ridiculously long and unique passwords for every single site. Do not reuse them. And if you get a random call or text asking for a one-time password, just hang up. It is 100% a scam.
Next up, let's clean up your online habits. This one's simple. Just stop downloading cracked software. Seriously, the risk of getting hit with ransomware is just way too high. If you absolutely have to test out a sketchy program, do it in what's called a sandbox, or even better, on a totally separate computer that has zero personal data on it.
And finally, let's secure the networks you connect to. At home, log into your router settings and switch to WPA3 if it's an option. If not, at least make sure you're using WPA2. Oh, and turn off WPS. That's the push-button connection thing. It's convenient, but it can be a security hole. And when you're on public Wi-Fi, just assume someone is listening in. Simple as that.
So here's the bottom line. Hacking is always evolving. AI is making these attacks smarter, more personal, and way more convincing than ever before. But you know what? Our best defense is still timeless. It's being informed, it's being vigilant, and it's treating your digital life like it's valuable. Because, well, it is.